when Paul George
Yep.
decided to bust out of Oklahoma City however he could to join Kawhi Leonard here for the Clippers, we said it started with V. Stiviano. I mean, and I was kind of tongue in cheek, but not really, because now here we are in Los Angeles. The Lakers have yet another generationally brilliant, talented person, maybe the most famous athlete on the planet, with all due respect to soccer players, and LeBron James, with Anthony Davis here. Lakers have the usual, but now the unusual is that the Clippers have theirs, with Ballmer and Doc Rivers, who you interviewed in this as well, because he was the coach at the time of all this. So this is an interesting time to tell it, because this is the center of the NBA universe.
It really
right
is.
Now,
and like, Ralph Lawler, who is their longtime announcer, and I did a really long interview, and Ralph just retired.
I know.
And he's like, oh my God, really? I retired now?
It's the anti-bingo, right? I know.
And he, there's a part of him that's like, oh, maybe this was 1 year too early. I don't know. But, he said he had a friend who would always say to him, like, the Clippers are never going to win until Donald Sterling is gone. They can't win with him as the owner. And Ralph was like, no. And the irony of that team and that season when the tapes come out is like, that's probably the best chance they ever had at winning. And then, of course, Donald, messes it all up. But when you look at this now, it's like they're finally dug out from that era. They finally have been able to make it their own, and there's not really the DNA of Donald Sterling on this franchise anymore. And I think if you look at the just player empowerment angle of this, it is quite a wonderful circle, right? I mean, players used to leave the Clippers as soon as humanly possible.
Yep.
Free agents would leave, and Donald Sterling would just let them go because he didn't believe in paying players, and he didn't believe players were valuable. Now you have players like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George asking for trades and coming to the Clippers as free agents or in a trade, trying to get to this franchise. I mean, it's the exact opposite of what used to happen for the Clippers. And it's fascinating to see what happens next.
It is. It's also fascinating talking to Laker fans about it. Because I know, because there's a sense of excitement for their own world for great reasons. Certainly when they were the so-called dumpster fire 3 months ago, 2 months ago, before all this happened. And then to see how Clipper Nation, many are being accused of being fair weather front runner, but I know a ton of Clipper fans who have just been dying on the vine, so excited right now. And Ballmer, I mean, he's a special brand of nuts that you need in the front office.
I mean,
I know.
I went to that press conference where they introduced Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and I was sitting about 6 rows back, and he got to the microphone, and I was like, "Woo, we don't need a mic." I mean, I can hear you loud and clear, man. He is so excited.
We've got that already right here, Mike. You got the we've cut them up, and we've had a great time with this one the entire time. You have it over there, Mike? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, whatever.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, here he is. He's pumped. It's all about.
From now on, it's all about the Larry O.B.
Right?
Yeah. He's so fired up, and I have this fun feeling with the Clippers right now, because they're as much as they have this team that's incredibly deep and talented. I don't think that they have as much pressure on them as the Lakers, because
they're not the Lakers.
They're not the Lakers, and they don't have LeBron. But when you look at where basketball in LA sits, people always said, why did it take so long to get rid of Donald Sterling? Why did it take the league, for this tape and for everything? And the cynic in me says, yeah, people may have wanted Donald Sterling gone, but they also didn't mind that the Clippers were a sleeping giant and were never going to be good as long as Donald Sterling owned them, because it's just competition. There was 29 other owners that are yeah, that team should be really good. They're in LA.
Why do I think, Ramona, as we wrap up this conversation about LA basketball, that Kobe still looms over everything? Is that a legitimate?
If you said to basketball fans in Los Angeles, who is the king of LA basketball, I would say 80% of them, if not more, would still say Kobe Bryant.
Given the choice of LeBron and Kawhi in the mix, too. And Anthony Davis.
Look, LeBron hasn't done anything in LA yet. He hasn't. He came here, but didn't make an impact in year one. And I think the enduring image of him in year one is probably him walking into Staples Center drinking the wine. It was a really bad year for the Lakers and for LeBron. And so, he has to win. And I think the fact that you haven't heard much from him this summer outside of Taco Tuesdays, I think that's a good sign, because I think he knows it. And I think that when you're quiet, that means that it's your brew time. You know, you're
Yeah,
brewing something up. Like,
I think he kind of enjoyed's not the right word because he is a competitor at the core. I think the April, May, and June off was refreshing to him.
I would hope
so.
Would
you say that he did, that the grind wasn't there?
It does wear you out, man.
I'm not saying he didn't miss it, but I think he realized that there was something about, and he took it in.
Well, don't you feel like that when you have a big project, right? And you go deep into something and you put everything into it and then it's over, there's a sense of like fatigue and needing to like let yourself fill back up with motivation and energy to take on something big again. Like, the man literally went to 8 straight finals. That's like putting yourself into going deep for 8 straight years and never really having much downtime to recover. He finally did. And now let's see how he plays with that chip on his shoulder, with that renewed motivation to redeem himself and remind people he's still King James. The question will be, will his body go along with it?
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.